Welcome back again, friends. We're doing it again. Day number 151 today, coming at you with the daily dose of Scripture. So we are going to be looking at Job, almost done with Job, ever so close to being done with Job. Job 40 through 42, Psalm 146. If y'all are new and you need to get a copy of the PDF guide that we are using as we go through the study of the Scripture over the course of a year, you can find a link to that down in the description below. Click on that link. It should automatically pull up a PDF file for you to look at, and you can keep up with what scripture we're supposed to be reading on what day and follow along. So again, Job 40 through 42 today, and we're also looking at Psalm 146. What I wanted to do is start off in Job 40, look at some verses, make some comments along the way, and just continue looking at what God is saying to Job, right? Where we left off yesterday is God had kind of said, hey, Job, look, I'm going to question you. You've been trying to question me, and you don't have access to all the information that I do, right? So you want to question me? All right, we'll sit down, and I'm going to question you, Job. That was kind of what was going on in our reading yesterday. So we're going to continue on with some of the things that God is saying to Job, starting off at the beginning of chapter 40. The Lord said to Job, will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him. Whoa. Will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Right? So I think that God is kind of saying, look, whoever it is, in this case, it's Job, but whoever it is, can anybody who contends with God correct God? The Almighty? Rhetorical question, friends. No. No. We can't. Then it goes on to say, Job answered the Lord. Oh, okay. Let's see what Job says. Job says, I am unworthy. How can I even reply to you? Wow. Job is like, before he was like, I'm righteous. I'm the most righteous guy around. I don't do anything wrong. I haven't sinned against anybody. And now he's saying, I am unworthy. How can I reply to you? And I think that an undertone to what's going on here is that for Job, who admittedly, we're told near the beginning of the book, was one of the most righteous men to ever live, right? So Job, if he was that righteous, right, he still fell short of what God expected, right? Because the Bible also tells us that we're all sinners, and even our best works are but filthy rags before the Lord, right? So taking what I know from various places in Scripture and putting those things together, it seems that Job is realizing, I thought I was righteous, and in many ways I was, but even so, I'm still unworthy to even have a conversation with you, God. I'm unworthy to be in your presence. I'm unworthy. How can I even reply to you? Okay? And then Job goes on to say, I put my hand over my mouth. Job is like, not even going to say nothing. I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer. Twice, but I will say no more. Then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm. Out of the storm. Interesting. Now, when we read about Moses going up on Mount Sinai to receive the law, that when Moses went up there, there was like this cloud and flashes of fiery flashes and lightning. It sounded kind of like they were describing a massive just cloud and thunderstorm going on all up around the top of Mount Sinai, right? And I believe that it said that, God was speaking to Moses, but to all the people down below, it just sounded like thunder, right? So it's almost like God was kind of appearing through a storm almost, right? And it seems like that's kind of what's going on here too, because it says, then the Lord spoke to Job out of the storm, right? So is it possible that the Lord is appearing to Job in a very similar way as as happened with Moses up on Mount Sinai. Could be. So, anyways, the Lord goes on to say, brace yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. And we read that in the text yesterday, right? Just kind of emphasizing that again. Brace yourself. I'm going to keep the questions coming, Job. Brace yourself. Would you discredit my justice? Would you condemn me to justify yourself? Ooh. Ooh. So here it sounds to me like God is saying, hey, Job, I am just. Are you discrediting my justice? Are you saying otherwise? Are you saying something else about me? Are you saying I'm unjust? Is that what you're saying? And then he says, would you condemn me to justify yourself, Job, so that you can be justified? You want to condemn me? But you know what? What's interesting about that is that that's exactly what God ends up doing for us when Jesus comes along, right? God condemned himself to justify us. That's the beauty of the gospel. And that's what this whole book we call the Bible is ultimately all about. So then God goes on to say to Job, do you have an arm like God's? And can your voice thunder like his? Again, rhetorical question. No, Job, you don't. Then adorn yourself with glory and splendor, and clothe yourself in honor and majesty. Unleash the fury of your wrath. Look at all who are proud and bring them low. Right? Job can't do that. Right? Only God can do that. Job is not powerful enough to do that. So then it goes on to say, look at all who are proud and humble them. Crush the wicked where they stand. Bury them all in their dust together. Shroud their faces in the grave. Then I myself will admit to you that your own right hand can save you. Right? So God is kind of rhetorically challenging Job here. He's saying, Job, you think you're as powerful as me? You think your right hand can reach like mine does? Okay, well here, try a few of these things. Try to do a few of these things. And once you've done those things, then we'll talk. Okay? Once you've done those things, then I'll admit to you that you're powerful enough that your right hand can save you. Right? Again, it's kind of a rhetorical setup. Job knows that he can't do any of that at this point. And if I jump over to chapter 42, verse 1, we'll just cover a few more verses here, and then we'll close out. It says, Job replied to the Lord. So again, God had been speaking to Job, and now Job is going to reply back. And Job says, I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted. You asked, who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge? Surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. So now Job is admitting where he was wrong. He's repenting of those thoughts, of those actions, of those beliefs. And he's saying, you know what, God, you're right. Your purposes can't be thwarted. And then he goes on to say, that I spoke of things I did not understand. Right? I spoke of things I did not understand. So Job is admitting his lack of knowledge, his lack of having all of the information that may be needed to see the bigger picture, right? Job is admitting that. And then he goes on to say, surely I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. You said, listen now, and I will speak. After Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Oh, okay. That's interesting, right? So Job, it seems like he had it made before all of this happened, right? With a flourishing family, with a flourishing business, with lots of herds and flocks, with plenty of provisions as far as food goes, as far as money goes. Job appeared to have kind of the full package, right? He had a good relationship with the Lord. He was living out his faith, and he had all kinds of worldly possessions too, right? And then when God took those all away, we now see God giving back, but not just giving back. In other places in the Bible, we read about how the Lord will restore the years that the locusts have eaten away, right? So when Job was suffering all of these things, the sickness and losing all of his wealth and losing his family and everything that he lost, when he was suffering through all of that, those were kind of like years, metaphorically speaking, years that locusts had eaten away, right? But now God is restoring Job, and not just restoring him, but restoring him twofold, giving him back way more than he even had to begin with. And it does say after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes. I wonder if there's a correlation there about God waiting, possibly, to restore Job until Job prayed for his friends. I don't know. But I want y'all to dig in and to go read the scripture and to meditate on it and study on it and see what y'all think about it. Until we meet again, deuces.